Okay.
A little bit stronger. Can you do it strong? No, I'm just kidding.
Hey guys, what's up? This is Surin, and I am here to tell you my top 10 monsters for doing ToA Rush. Alright, so in last place, but is the most hot and most talked about team right now, is Astar with either Akaru or with Rauk. So Astar is really hot right now because of her passive, which means that the more HP an enemy has, the more all of her passive stacks with that, so she gets more attack power. And so especially against boss stages, she's going to do a lot. And you really want to have a Rauk or a Akaru in there, which is going to combo with her and allow her to go a lot. She also has the highest damage output of any of the Magic Knights, and that makes her really effective in ToA Rush. Alright, so next up is Teshar. Teshar, our famous wind chicken. I use personally him as a backup damage dealer, so if you need something to be cleaned up at the very end after one of your other units go in, do some AoE damage, he's really nice because his passive will then clean up all the leftover bits in the field. So a lot of times you'll have like 10% here, 5% here. If you need that last little burst, Teshar is really nice. They did change his passive, and it's kind of hotly contested whether that made him better or worse for Rush. I still use him. The only thing I have to say that one negative about Teshar is that those animations are so long. And if you mess up and the passive goes and it's the last monster on the field, then you're watching that spinning whirlwind of just nightmare, and you just know you're wasting seconds watching it. So yeah, try to not use that if you can, but Teshar is still really good for ToA Rush. So we have Lucian up next. It wouldn't be any kind of Rush ToA clearing of anything without a Lucian. Lucian obviously is just going to be your AoE damage dealer. I would recommend using Lucian earlier stages. Later on, you're not gonna, okay, you can have a thick Lucian that's gonna do a bunch of juicy damage, but he's not perfect for ToA rushing. You can if you bring something that's gonna bring his skill up more often, but honestly, he slows you down with his animation times, he slows you down with his skill too, not adding enough at all. So I wouldn't use him in ToA Rush, but very good for AoE damage, obviously. So for me, one of my top kings of ToA rushing is Zyros. It took me 5 years to get a Zyros, and I just adore him, love him, treat him preciously because he does so much for ToA. Just having the ability to do AoE damage consistently, having the ability to reset skills is just, you can't beat that. You cannot beat that. And so Zyros has to be in your list because if you have him, you're just wasting him if you're not using him. So absolutely bring your Zyros, but be very careful to only bring him in the top half, the last 30%, because he's way too slow for the first 60 floors. So bring him in the later half, put him in your last part team, and you'll be golden. So Beth is amazing because ToA needs defense breaks. You cannot rush ToA without a defense break, in my personal opinion, because, I mean, how are you gonna get your damage in there? It's just so clean. Beth does 2 AoEs. She does massive damage. You don't need to worry about her destroy, obviously, because things should die way before you ever need to worry about it, but she does do massive damage, a defense break, say no more. So these next 3 are going to be like what I consider my holy trinity of doing ToA Rush. First, we're going to talk about Water Homie. Water Homie, I have on the full
bottom
build all the way across the
bottom.
He's there just to poke. Honestly, I use him a lot for the poke. If you get a freeze, that's nice, but honestly, he just does that little poke at the end to just clean up. He's clean, he's consistent. I love using him. Definitely recommend you bring him into ToA Rush. So Rauk for me is the bread and butter of doing ToA Rush because he's the only thing that actually allows everything to run as clean as it does. Rauk is comboing, he's doing damage, you get it really lucky and he goes pow, 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 like something blows up and he gets to go again, and you're like, yes! It just goes so much faster. So Rauk is great because he does obviously help with your cooldowns. He's helping with, you know, if you get really lucky and he does pow, 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 you know, you're getting all these extra deaths in there, but absolutely love Rauk. Rauk's amazing, must bring him. So for my honorary mentions, I'm going to mention 2 famous birds that the famous LC33 uses in his Rush, which is really successful for him, but I will make one little caveat, one little pointer. You need to run the birds on manual. So birds, who are they? Teon, Konamiya, amazing. They allow you to just refresh, use your skills. You get to pinpoint just what do you want to use, who is it, refresh them, AoE again, and you're donezo. So super nice, but keep in mind they're not going to auto. You really need to focus in on them, but really consistent. So really had to give a shout out to Elsie because his team is really unique and I really think it's very, very efficient and effective. So number one for me, by far, this might be not agreeable to everyone, but I run Shayna in my ToA Rush. I think she's amazing. I think she's consistent. I run her with a lot of fight runes. I think she's double fight blade right now, so it really runs really consistent and clean for me. But the AoE defense break cannot underestimate how good it is. She does so much damage. She's just a goddess. So I'm going to, even though I know I put Astar in here for people who say, why Shayna over Astar? I love Shayna. You should try rushing Shayna. You should just do it. Just do it. All right, guys, so thank you so much for listening to my list. I hope you try some of these units out in your ToA Rush. If you'd like to come watch ToA Rush with me, I run it on my stream, twitch.tv/Surin. I forgot my own name. So thank you. And please come rush with us. It's a lot of fun.